everything was different. Huh?
Hello. Babe. Yeah, we're driving.
Oh man. It's like a drunken pipe thing.
told her I had a stomachache, which was true, because I felt like I'd been kicked in the gut. Nurse Molly called Mom and had me lie down on the sofa next to her. 15 minutes later, Mom was at the door. Sweetness, she said, coming over to me. Hi, I didn't want her to ask anything until afterward. You have a stomachache? She asked, automatically putting her hand on my forehead to check my temperature. He said he feels like throwing up, said Nurse Molly, looking at me with very nice eyes, and I have a headache I was I wonder if it's something related, said Mom. There's a stomach bug going around, said Nurse Molly. Oh, jeez. Her eyebrows going up as she shook her head. She helped me to my feet. Should I call a taxi or y'all walking? I can walk. What a great pit, said Nurse Molly, patting me on the back as she walked us to the door. If he starts throwing up or runs a temperature, you should call the doctor. Absolutely, said Mom, shaking Nurse Molly's hand. Thank you so much for taking care of me. My pleasure, answered Nurse Molly, putting her hand under my chin and tilting her face out. You take care of yourself, okay? I nodded at Mom. Thank you, Mom, and I walked. Mom and I hugged walked the whole way home. I didn't tell her anything about what had happened. And later, when she asked me if I felt well enough to go trick-or-treating at the school, I said no. This worried her since she knew how much I usually love trick-or-treating. I heard her say to Dad on the phone, he doesn't even have the energy to go trick-or-treating. No fever at all. No, what the heck? Do you want to go swimming in there? Well, I will if he doesn't feel better by tomorrow, okay? Oh, man. I know, poor thing. Imagine his missing Halloween. I get out of going to school the next day, which was Friday, so I had the whole weekend to think about everything. I was pretty sure I would never go back to school. Okay, so this chapter was the last section of him talking about his older sister. Oh, and every time it's someone new speaking, there's a quote that they say. So now it's going to be Via talking in first person. Part 2, Via. Oh man. Far above the world, planet Earth is blue. What? Do you think the car can handle it? It's built for stuff like this. Far above the world, planet Earth is blue. If that car passed it, we can for sure. Far above the world, planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. David Bowie, Space Oddity. I Mom and Dad